Are you lost driving online? Looking for a new destination for audible inspiration? Pull over here. This is Exit 18.
Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Chris Short from the New Paltz Chamber of Commerce, and I'm here with a good friend of mine, Judy Annunziata of Edible Arrangements of the Hudson Valley. Judy, what's going on? How you doing?
I'm good. We're open. We're considered an essential business. A lot of people didn't realize that. So I'm glad that I get to do this with you.
Awesome. I appreciate you being here. Essential business. That's pretty cool. There's a lot of people probably never would have made that connection to that. What are you guys delivering? What are you guys doing right now?
So aside from our regular arrangements, menu, and boxes and platters, we are now doing whole fruit for people that either can't get to the grocery store or don't want to go to the grocery store, but we have fresh produce, apples, Granny Smith apples, oranges, pineapple, cantaloupe, honeydew, and our strawberries.
Awesome. That's pretty cool. I know that's always been, you're definitely one of the my favorites for holidays and celebrations. That's definitely cool. You know what, as a lot of people right now the anxiety level is really high. And here at the chamber, you know, I'm trying to put a face to the reality that's out right now. And I think the cool thing about New Paltz is what I've learned over the last 6 months of being the new director is having such a tight-knit community, and all of the people are reaching out and helping each other. I'm interested with your business and how everything's going. Have you learned anything about yourself and the business, and you know how this is going on while everything's getting a little weird?
Yeah, you're going through different phases because it's day by day. I mean, first it was reduce your staff by 50% and then 75% and then whatever you could do. And then it was becoming an essential business. And I think as a small business owner, you're taking it day by day and you're either going through three different moods. I feel like you're either losing it, you're either on the other spectrum of it and you're thinking that this is exaggerated too much and that, you know, you're going through a struggle being a small business owner, or you're taking the punches day by day and you're trying to figure it all out. And, you know, that's kind of where I'm at. I'm going day by day, learning as much as I can, trying to help out where I can. But that's what I've learned about myself. I'm being a little bit more patient. I'm also thinking more towards the future, like, because we're not sure how long we will stay open. As of right now, I'm staying open, and we only have one store open. So Newburgh is opened, handling all three locations in Newburgh, Middletown, and Monroe. We're taking care of all of like Orange County, Ulster County, Dutchess County, some of Rockland, some of, you know, wherever. But I think that what's happening is I'm trying to figure it out. And you know, my staff asks me questions, and it's like the first time ever as a business owner, I really don't have answers because I really don't. I mean,
yeah, a lot of us don't. Yeah, we're struggling, you know, all the way around. I think trying to, you know, bring it back to the basics and figure out, you know, what we can do, you know, locally. I think a lot of people, we're getting back to the idea of, you know, family, local, self, that kind of thing. So I think, you know, in a world where there is uncertainty, you know, we go back to the old school way of working. How's that working for you? Is that something that you guys are doing?
the old school way of working or the old school way of thinking, you know, go back to the family and yeah, I mean, that on a personal level, how I'm doing, I think I'm starting to do a little bit more self-care. I know that sounds crazy, but like I think a lot of small business owners always have that struggle of you need to constantly be working and figuring things out. But through all of this, I've had to like, you have to, it's a mother nature telling us, let's reel it back in and let's see what's more important. So yes, family, yourself, your relationship, you're sitting there saying, wow, like I've really been so busy. And this is the first time that like, I think I've actually said, let me do some self-care and let me, you know, take this time to feel better for myself and at the same time go through this daily.
Yeah. Is there, and with everything that you've seen, I mean, obviously you're going out, you said, you know, you're doing deliveries, you're still, you know, you're still open. Have you seen anything good out there? I know there's a lot of negative floating around on the internet at the moment. What kind of good have you come across? Got any good stories? Anything that's, where people have actually kind of stepped up and surprised you at all?
When you're saying people stepping up, are you asking me like employees, the community, or just in general?
Yeah, in general, all of the above. I've heard a lot of, a lot of people have come to me with stories where they're going above and beyond. A lot of different people that are, helping out the grocery stores,
There's a lot of,
different things. Yeah, there's a lot going on.
yeah, no, I've seen a lot. I have to say that the community's being great on a small business level. I know a lot of people don't understand that I'm a small business owner because I own a franchise, so they just assume that corporate's helping me. But believe it or not, they're actually corporate's doing a lot for us too. I don't think that they expected this either. So now they are helping us out on royalties and things of that, and free delivery that they're offering to the customers. But my staff has been great. My GM especially, she's been at the store every day, making sure everything's going the right way, and she's taking in the fruit deliveries. The community itself, they're doing, I'm sure you saw it, the dining takeout Tuesday, just to help everybody out. I think I've noticed a lot more sharing of social media, sharing of local business, people dropping off groceries to each other's homes that are not even asking for it. Like I'm seeing so many posts and so many people, people sending gifts from like through us. They're sending gifts, kind of a just because I miss you type of thing. I just feel like everybody's heart is a little bit bigger right now, and
Yeah, that's interesting. I know we were talking the other day, you mentioned something when we were on the phone about, having the ability, we're on, self quarantine right now, just kind of staying out, trying to keep things, flatten the curve. Everybody's heard that. But a lot of people are forgetting about, graduations and weddings and things like that, where I think something that resonated, you mentioned to me before about don't forget to celebrate all the good stuff, right? And not necessarily, something like that, but celebrate the, in general. We'll follow up on that, because that was a pretty cool conversation that we had.
it was sad because, everything went to a halt, and so then people who had birthdays planned or things planned or their anniversary got postponed or canceled, right? So I'm not saying so much having to use it for edible arrangements, but you still need to celebrate those days. You need to celebrate the anniversaries. You need to celebrate the kids' birthdays and the husband's birthday, your family's birthday. You need to still celebrate it because you want to keep everything normal still, like kids still get up and they're doing their homework. People are still working, but they're working from home. Still keep everything the same, including your celebrations, especially right now. Like, I think it's really important that we celebrate, the family, husband and wife, couples, those things. If you drop it, then I feel like it's going to make us sad, to be honest with you. Those are happy times, and you still need to keep those happy times going on in the house.
Is there any way, with what we're going through, what have you changed in like your personal schedule or your personal life? You mentioned some self-care before. What is like a normal day look like to you? Have you totally changed the way you work?
Yeah, it's definitely totally changed. I mean, I used to be a 5 a.m.er and straight to work. And I've kind of now I wake up and I make like the first hour is all about me. I'm a meditator, believe it or not. I'm a meditator. I'm a journaler. I like to journal and just put it out, everything. I like to get all my thoughts out. So I've been doing a lot of that. I mean, I took a walk yesterday. It was the first time I took a walk in my neighborhood, and I can't tell you the last time I did that.
Yeah, well, I think I live close to the rail trail, so I've got a chance to go out there and kind of I like your idea of kind of turning it back on yourself. There's a lot of slowdown right now, and usually as somebody, a business owner, somebody in my position or somebody that has a lot of things going on, your brain is constantly like chugging, and even on your downtime, you're not really down, you're always on.
Yeah, I would say that.
this is something where, we've kind of had to reevaluate the way of working and redefine what business looks like, redefine, what interactions look like. And I think there's going to be some changes down the road. Where do you think this is going to be? Where do you see business and people changing through this? Where do you think this is going to go?
Well, I know I've talked to a few people that think it's only going to be like a few more weeks and we're all going to go back to work. And I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't think it's going to be normal again. I think a few months before everybody's completely back. I think it's going to take baby steps. But I have this feeling that when everybody gets back to work, they are going to have a different mindset on local. I mean, I know we've always said shop local, support local. I think it hit home a lot more this time, and I think that people are going to be a little kinder. I know that might sound a little odd too, but you got to really see how people care. And like, I get it on a community level, but I think that even if you realize you reached out to that like aunt or uncle or cousin that you haven't talked to in God only knows how long, because you were just thinking about them because you just didn't have time before. And I think that now we're going to start making more time, I think, for the things that we've taken for granted.
Yeah, I agree. I think priorities are being level set.
Yeah.
We're taking a step back and seeing, what does this look like for me? And what, at least from my perspective, is how can we affect change locally, right? There's a big national, conversations, there's statewide conversations, but it's the unsung heroes that I'm coming across right now. It's the people that are working in the supermarkets, the ones that are, the delivery drivers that are still out there, obviously the healthcare
Mine included.
like those people, like the real local superheroes are starting to really shine at this point because they've always been there. And I think we've taken a lot for granted, personally, professionally, a lot of different things. And I think I agree with you. This is like a time for us to kind of reset the way we think about community and self.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I think we're going to struggle in the beginning, I mean, a lot of people have been out of work, so I don't think they're going to be purchasing as much as they were. I'm prepared for that, but I think it's going to come back around. And when it does come back around, it's going to be not perfect. It's going to be so much better than we've seen. I'm very positive about that. I think that whether it takes 6 months, 9 months, a year, I do think that we're going to see it much busier than we've been in the last prior 6 months.
Right. No, I definitely agree. I think if we look at the bigger picture, being that we are kind of clearing the cobwebs of just that day-to-day grind, and now we've had a chance, like you said, we were forced. I know that's me, definitely. I push, and then, I'll catch a cold, and, guys and their colds are just the worst. But it kind of forces you to slow down, and then you're like, oh, wait a minute, that's kind of like you said before, Mother Nature's just saying, all right, let's settle down for a little bit. I agree with you that the mindset of what's going on in the country is going to be totally different, and I agree 1,000% that it's going to be, if anything, this is going to solidify the infrastructure locally to kind of look out for your neighbor more, and like you said, maybe return that shopping cart, and maybe if you see somebody struggling, reach out before something weird happens, and be like, hey, how you doing? I know I've gone through my Rolodex, through my cell phone Rolodex that shows my age, of all the people that I've actually befriended over the years, and old friends, new friends. I'm calling people even overseas. I got friends in Scotland and England and South Korea, and I'm just calling and saying, hey, how you doing? How's everything over there? And you remember that, there's more to you than your business card, or there's more to you, the title at your job, that it's, Chris calling Judy to say, hey, how are you doing? How's everything behind the scenes? What do what's your take on that?
Think about it, right? If you were working, right, it was 9 to 5, let's say, and then at 6 o'clock, you have a chamber event, right? So do I, and I'm going as a business owner. So my nights are free. And I'm like, oof, okay, now what? And I'm calling family and friends, and I never had that time. The time wasn't available then. You know, it's like, or you were coming home from work and you were starting dinner and you're getting ready for your next day and you're going and going and going. And now you have like lots of free time, you know, and you're sitting there going, okay, let me check up on people. Or not even that, let me check on myself.
Right.
And what have I wanted to do that I haven't done is what I've been doing a lot of lately. Like, no, I mean, my house is probably the cleanest I've ever had it, and I'm happy about it. But it kind of told me, like, you could have made time for this, but you waited until you got pushed to having to do it. And that seems to be a lot of things too that I'm noticing, is that I've always had an excuse about work. And now it's like, oh, all these things I wanted to get completed, I actually could do it. I just didn't step back a little bit and put it into my life. I
Right.
made, you know,
Are you willing to share one thing that you got to? Something you've been putting off that you actually got to?
yeah, sure. I converted my office into half office, half Zen, like my meditation area. So I moved my cabinets and everything all by myself. Yeah, I did this on Sunday.
Oh, really? Okay. How's it
Did it
look?
by
Is it good?
myself. Didn't
Good.
stop until 2 a.m. I just kept going.
Kept going. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's the one thing I found.
yeah,
Right now, the chamber, we're trying to reinvent the chamber, and with going virtual, and with interviews and things like this, of trying to find out what businesses are doing differently, how they're adjusting, and going through like this. And I found myself the other day, just kind of tired of scrolling through Netflix. And what I did is I'm actually building a studio here so we can have more interviews like this, where we can actually interact as humans, right? I think that's the one thing that it's been great about using these conference calls, right? A lot of people didn't even know Zoom existed until a week ago. And the
I did.
number one thing that I've gotten is we used to do a lot of coffees once a month. And
Mm.
now the chamber is going virtual every Friday at 9 a.m. We're doing a coffee. And the number one thing that everybody says is it's great to see everybody's face.
Yeah, and I love that. I love that. I got to be honest. I think I told you the other day when you were telling me that back in the day, like I would always want to be able to make those coffee uh, mixers, and I couldn't make them because it was too early in the morning or something else I had on. It would always fall on a day, and I couldn't go. But doing it like this, well, you have no other choice. So it's great because you can do the things that maybe you couldn't do before too. And I think the fact of seeing each other and doing it this way, it's great. I mean, other than seeing your family, who else are you really seeing right now?
Yeah, exactly. I think that's, yeah, going through and actually seeing people, hey, what's going on? We're not wearing the button up shirts, right? We're all a little bit relaxed, or, we're working out there.
Arrangements attire.
You're doing the casual thing. And I think people are realizing that there's more to friends and colleagues that they see, the small interactions that they see, that, oh, okay, that person's got a whole nother life outside of the little bubble that I know them in. I think sometimes we get pigeonholed into that idea of, oh, there's Chris in a suit and a tie shaking hands, but you know what? I'll read a book and watch TV and, go hiking. I've got my things. And it's starting to kind of look that people are a little bit more complicated, more deep than, just, hey, there's that person who does that thing.
There's that lady that likes to work with fruit.
Yeah, the fruit queen, definitely. I know that was, you've been called that for years now.
Yeah.
Um, give me your take, talking about identity here on like how we're kind of going forward. Where do you see this going with relationships moving forward? I mean, we were talking earlier about, there's a lot of things, everyone's focusing on the kids and things like that, but what about, how other people are interacting?
You mean business relationships or personal relationships?
Both. I think, sometimes they're so intertwined, that you spend so much time with your work colleagues, and then you may have limited time with your family now because we're all kind of talking virtually. It's kind of starting to overlap.
Yeah.
I've had people step in, husbands and wives and, girlfriends, boyfriends, people that are hanging out, jump into the back of a call and they're like, hey, Chris, how's it going? I haven't seen you in like 2 years. But yeah, but there's, that's pretty cool when you can kind of use this. So now, like, those relationships are starting to, I think they're starting, at least from my vantage point, they're getting deeper and they're getting wider.
Yeah.
And you're reconnecting with those people that were just the other half of the person you're talking to.
I agree with you. I think that people are making jokes about personal relationships that after this is done, there'll be a high number of babies made and a high number of divorces. But I honestly think that, yeah, I mean, obviously, anywhere, if somebody's in your space and you're limited to being in close quarters for so long, they're going to drive you a little insane. The good thing I can say for me is that he's working in the basement on his desk and on his calls, and I'm upstairs doing mine. So we don't see each other all day. But on a business level, this is the first time that I have not been able to go to the store and be within my staff, because we're limiting. We only have one person, actually two right now, but they are, no joke, 6 feet apart from each other, if not further, in the kitchen, and a driver. So I'm not going in and out of the store, popping in like I'm, used to. So there's that distancing. I mean, I'm talking on the phone with them, but it's different. I feel like I kind of miss them.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of also, my scare, just to kind of get off topic for a second, but my scare is that when this is completely back to normal, are we going to have that same drive of work, 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 work? And is it such a bad thing? I mean, I don't know if it's going to be a terrible thing if I actually started slowing down, because I'm starting to come up with this, new routine, and I'm not 24 hours thinking work, because we have short work hours, we're limited on our hours and stuff. So, and we're closed on Sunday. So these are things that are different to me. And I'm like, oh my God, when we go back, am I going to be, and the way I look at it, I'm saying, oh my God, am I going to be lazy? But I don't know if it's necessarily lazy. I'm wondering if when I go back to this, am I going to be different? Like, am I going to have different perspective? Like we keep saying, but these are things that pop in my head. Like, oh my God, I'm not sure if I'm getting too used to this already. Like,
Yeah.
how do you feel? Do you feel like this is becoming so different, and from what you've done and constantly going and being at the office, sitting in my office at the store, it's just so different now. Now I'm in my home office doing it.
It's kind of strange. So I'm a technology guy, right? So I've been doing conference calls and things like this because I used to work overseas. And this was kind of like second nature to me. But I have to be honest, there's some things that I miss, right? I like the interaction with people, and I draw energy from having a group of people and great conversation and brainstorming ideas. I have to tell you, I had right now I have 9 interns that were from SUNY New Paltz, and they all obviously went back home. They shut down the college for safety reasons, and the idea here is that they're all scattered to the wind. But I had almost a 2-hour conference call with them on Zoom, where I had all 9 up on the screen, and it was kind of like the Brady Bunch, where everybody was kind of like talking, and having great ideas. And it almost it seems to me like it's almost more productive. I've been trying to bring the business academy and the chamber and everything online. We had a 6-month plan, and now I have a 6-day window, right? Like that whole schedule has been compressed, because now this is a perfect opportunity to launch those new ideas and experiment a little bit more with, all right, this is where we are, this is a way of working. When I opened up the chat to kind of say, all right, team, what do you think? I mean, the amount of ideas and the amount of innovation and ingenuity that came from the students, because they, same thing, they kind of have that network of fellow students. They see all those people on campus, and now they're locked up in their bedrooms, their dining room tables, or whatever it is. So now they're like the imagination and the hey, what if we did this? What if we did that? And all those great ideas. I think what we're going to see, like you said, post when we get back to work, is people taking more chances and speaking up more with, hey, you know what? This is something I was either reading or I listened to this podcast, or I saw this, documentary. What if we did this? And I think it's reframing the way we think as business owners.
So I feel like a lot of things like that, as a business owner, you're constantly thinking new idea, right? And you think of a new idea and you want to do it, but you just don't have the time to get to it. I think a lot of ideas, fresh ideas, new ideas that business owners just didn't have the time or the time to look it up to see how to do it. It's going to start coming to fruition now. Like a lot of my things that I wanted to do on a marketing level are now, I have the time also to do it. So I'm doing them. And just, I'm seeing great content on people's social media. And I'm like, that's so smart. But I bet you if it was 3 weeks prior, we probably wouldn't see it come out. Exactly. Might not have seen it, or it wouldn't have come out for months. And I'm noticing that there's a lot of like personal or business goals and things like that that I'm now doing that I couldn't before, because I kept saying, after this holiday, I'll jump on this, but something else comes up and interrupts it. Right. So now I think we're going to see a lot of people got to brainstorm during this time and got to do a lot of things that they wanted to roll out for a while, yourself included. And, and you're like, oh, now I have the time. And I think it's going to be great. I'm telling you, this time, as sad as it is, was so needed for at least me personally, but I think all of us, that like things that we couldn't do, it's like, I'm looking at it as we're getting the time to now do it. And we're getting the time to be a little bit more healthier too. I got to be honest. I don't think I cared about my health as much as obviously now. On a self-love, I'm, making sure I'm taking my vitamins, making sure that I'm taking, doing these things, probiotic. Like before I would say it, now I'm doing it, and I don't see this all being so negative. I think that there is positive that's coming out of this.
Oh, I definitely agree. I think there's going to be a major shift in how people work and what they think. So yeah, I agree with that. 100%.
I also think that on an employee level, you're going to see an improvement because people are going to want their jobs and they're going to put their best foot forward, I think, more now than ever, because everybody got scared, like, you're not coming in anymore. What? Like that paycheck got taken away. And once you reopen and it goes back, I think they're going to appreciate their position a little bit more.
That's interesting. I agree with that. I'm definitely think that people are going to look at things through a new set of lenses.
Oh, absolutely.
Is there anything that you're doing now from an organization standpoint? Like you said before, you were getting everything in order. Like, what are like two things or one or two things that you are starting to do now that you didn't do before that you think is going to become common, normal way of working moving forward?
I think that my staff is going to realize a little bit more on the cleanliness. Not that we have our set standards, but I think that the fact that we had such a protocol of wiping and the phone and this, I don't think that they realized, I don't think anybody did. I think I've learned about how to wash my hands better too. I don't think I've ever had a tutorial about how to actually wash your hands as much as I have now. And I've been doing this for 14 years, but like, it was crazy. So I just think that that's one thing, the cleanliness, which is great. I think they're just going to be twice as aware of it.
Yeah.
I think that, like I said, they're going to put their best foot forward because everybody's going to want their job. And I think there might be a fear that people's jobs are going to be cut. So it's going to be a little bit of fear, but it's going to be a little bit of pride too. And I don't know. I mean.
So let me pivot to this. I know one thing that I've been, kind of like a personal mantra of mine is probably becoming more relevant now during this time. There's three things I always say is surround yourself with smart people, remove obstacles, and get out of the way. It's sort of like a personal mantra that I've been following probably for the last 3 to 5 years. Is there sort of like a mantra or a quote or something that you're living by that's really helping direct the way you go?
Yeah, I believe that everything is fixable. There is nothing that's not. Kind of Maria Foley, I think that's her last name. I'm listening to her on Audible, but everything is fixable. At the end of the day, anything that you're dealing with, for the most part, is fixable. So the things that we used to think that were big deals are now so much smaller now that this is all going on. Another mantra is that get out of your own way.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned myself too. I think that we stay in our own way thinking we can't do things because we're so busy and we need to do X, Y, and Z as a business owner and X, Y, and Z as an employee. And you have other ideas, but you just don't do them because you want to make sure you're doing X, Y, and Z. And then I think the other mantra that I follow is, I'm trying to think of exactly how to put it into words. Your mind is controlled by you, and I think that you're more powerful than you think you are. You can actually make your decisions and things, and you can make it work. So I guess, have you ever read the book, The Sedona Method?
No, I haven't. What's that about?
So it's a little bit about how you as a person, you think that this is this big, but you've made it that big. And you just need to get in your own head and, understand that it's just as big as you make it. So what you might tell me something and I might say, oh, Chris, that's not a big deal. You're making that bigger than it is. And you're like, you don't understand. I've been working with that a lot because, as a sole business owner, sometimes you think that the problem is this big and there's other things that are this big. And then it just gets, but your mind is so much more powerful. You can actually, kind of goes back into everything is fixable. So
That's good. I think it's kind of like a good takeaway there to kind of look at the bigger picture and try and, put things into perspective. I think perspective is a word I've been using a lot in the last 2 years. And I think that's something that'll actually move forward. So on that note, all right. So you said your mind has more power. Let's shift gears just a little bit here as we kind of wind down. We've all been kind of watching, what do you prefer? Netflix, Hulu, YouTube, Facebook Live. What's your go-to during this downtime?
I am a YouTube girl.
YouTube girl.
I like to look at business women and how they juggle life and all of that. I've always, and during this time, I'm on Facebook a lot more than I'm normally because of the content that people are sharing, which I'm actually doing. I'm trying to make my social media not so much about the actual product and more of the community and trying to get out as much info as I can. But back to the original question, YouTube, definitely YouTube, and movies. I just watched Knives Out? I just watched Knives Out. That was
Knives
good.
Out, okay. That's a good movie. I'll have to check that one out. That was a recommendation. All right, so if we're talking about movies now, you and I have been talking about, this idea that I've been working on for years about, calling it, the Avengers. Who's your favorite Avenger right now?
Right now?
Oh, come on. No, wait a minute. You have that just hanging around right there?
Office. It's in my office a lot. Hold on. Yeah. I have to fight off when they're throwing fruit at me.
Nice.
Actually, Wade and I are huge Avenger fans. So we have Iron Man mask. We have Hulk hands.
Hulk hands, you've got all of it. All
yeah.
Right. What's the allure of the Avengers?
I don't know, actually. I don't know how it started. It was Wayne. He actually and I actually just started getting as excited to watch it. And what is it? Thanos?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
The glove has all the crystals on it. We all know I love crystals, so I was all about it. Is that a terrible reason? No, I actually, it was something that we did together. So we ended up having so much fun and enjoying it that it started becoming a little bit of a joke here and there. And we would buy it for Christmas gifts and things like that. You know, Christmas ornaments. It just started becoming a part of our holidays and everything. So now Avengers means something here.
Well, it's good. It kind of ties it all back into what we were saying earlier about, it's those little things that make a difference. If you were gonna, as we kind of wind down here, if you had something that you wanted to share to anybody watching this video, they've made it this long, we're trying to make it, bring the human side out to business owners and things that are going on there, friends and colleagues. What do you want people to leave? What note do you want to leave people with?
For edible arrangements or in general?
I would say in general, you as a person, what is your message to the masses right now?
My message is that if you're scared as a business owner, which I'm assuming we all are, don't be afraid to reach out to other business owners and ask what they're doing. Don't freak out alone. I think that with the community opening up, I think, one, I do believe going to your chamber and asking what they can do to help you, if they have any suggestions, networking once we can again, if not on Zoom. But I think, don't be so fearful and try to take it on by yourself, because right now it's not the time to freak out, decide to shut down and, think that this is going to be the end all. I think you need to look to your fellow business owners that you probably never did in the past. I probably wouldn't have, we're in different businesses, why would I reach out? But look to your local chambers, look to your local community organizations and your fellow business owners, and just tell them what's your scares, because we all have them, right? So we might have answers that'll help you. There might be things, there's a lot of people that are looking for relief, and I understand that. Actually, I think you have it on your website, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
You have.
Yeah, we've been posting all the information that I could find that's relevant to state and local to help businesses out. It's changing every day, but
Yeah.
we have a link on our website. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think people are aware of that. I think just don't give up or make a decision on your own. Reach out, right? Don't freak out just yet. It's going to be hard. I don't think maybe people don't think it's real. If you're a business owner for 14 years, like I have, I think that it's going to be a little rough, but I think it's going to be workable. It's going to be fixable.
Everything's fixable. Great words to finish on. So if anybody wants to get in touch with you, what's the best way to kind of reach out?
So the best way is Monday through Friday, we are open from 9 until 5, and we're doing free non-contact or no contact delivery. You want to call the Newburgh location. It's 845-565-1144. You can go online, but the best way for us is definitely calling directly. And we are open on Saturdays. We're open from 10 to 3. And that's it. I mean, we do have curbside pickup. We do recommend just taking advantage of the free delivery right now, just so that there's zero contact. There is, when you go curbside, we bring it out to you. But I think that right now, just with everybody scared, just letting us bring it to your home and leaving it on your doorstep, and we call you. So that's the best way. Or you can go to edible.com.
Cool. All right, Judy, thanks so much for talking today, showing the human side of your business, a friend, a colleague for years. This was great. Thanks for your time. Appreciate it. And everybody out there, we're going to have more of these conversations moving forward from all these amazing business leaders in our community. Just stay tuned. We'll see you next time. Thanks a lot.